The verse of the day is Proverbs 19:19, and it says, "Hot-tempered people must pay the penalty. If you rescue them once, you will have to do it again." So the first part of this verse says hot-tempered people must pay the penalty. So people who get angry, people who lash out must pay the penalty of their actions. And so this is really highlighting an emotion, right? And I think it's easy to villainize our emotions and to be like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I do these things? But it's all about what we do with the feeling, what we do with the emotion. So the emotion itself is not bad. God created us to have emotions, to feel. It's what we do next. And so this is why it's so important to practice the fruit of the Spirit. Self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. It's so funny. If you think about self-control, I personally feel like that's the hardest one, because when you look at your life, do you have self-control in every area of your life? How you eat, how you think, how you treat people, how you lash out, how you handle your emotions, and the things that you do. Learning self-control, I believe, is one of the hardest things, because it's so easy for us to want to quickly respond to how we're feeling, how we're thinking, what we desire. Self-control teaches us that we're not led by our desires and our emotions. We actually submit that under Jesus. And it's a beautiful thing, because if we do let ourselves be led by our emotions and our desires, we get easily deceived. This is when our selfishness takes over, pride takes over, and all the things that aren't like God take over. But when we allow God to work through us and we focus on self-control, submitting our ways under Him, dying to our way and choosing His way, we get to stay in alignment with true life, true love. We don't get controlled by our desires and urges and feelings, but we get to see that we have control over them. And that's a powerful feeling. I think it's super powerless when you don't have control. When you lash out and you're hot-tempered and you're just out of control, it's a powerless feeling, because you look at yourself and your actions and you're like, dang, why did I do that? Why did I respond that way? And with patterns, it comes up often, and you can get hard on yourself and be like, why does this keep happening? Why do I feel like I'm out of control with my emotions and how I respond to people? And it's when we learn self-control. Lord, help me to have self-control. Help me to bite my tongue and respond the way you would want me to respond. That's when we can respond with gentleness and kindness and compassion. And I think the key when it comes to this is God meets our needs. When we get angry, usually a need of ours isn't being met. I was reading a bit about anger before this, and one thing I read was that anger alerts us to threats and tells us when one of our fundamental needs has gone unmet. So it reveals a lot about where we're at and what we're needing and what's lacking. For example, it says if our space has been invaded, our freedom has been squashed, our pride has been injured, if the way we see the world has been invalidated, or our feelings have been ignored, if you feel mistreated, taken advantage of, wronged, that can spark a certain level of anger. And really, it's just you having an unmet need. And the really good news about that is Jesus can meet that need. So we can learn how to get this need met by Jesus, so that we don't get as angry when the world, people, places, and things don't meet those needs, which causes our anger, which sparks our anger. So really, the things we're angry about highlight where we get to run to God more. I think a lot of people can misunderstand anger and think that when you're angry, you're sinful, but it's not the anger that's sinful. It's what you do with the anger. One of my favorite verses that explains this is Ephesians 4:26, and it says, "Don't sin by letting anger control you. Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry, for anger gives a foothold to the devil." Don't sin by letting anger control you. That doesn't say that anger itself is a sin. It's what you do with it. The anger is just an indicator of where you need to go to God, what you need to handle with God. I think anger can also start here. If you have a belief that people take advantage of you, and then you have a situation where someone takes advantage of you, you're going to get extra angry because it's evidence of that belief you have within. And that's a powerless feeling, right? So if we learn how to rewire here that no matter who tries to take advantage of me here, it doesn't matter, because I'm good with God. I got everything I need from God. People don't dictate my happiness. People aren't the thing I root my identity in. Jesus is. So you're able to be more steady because Jesus never takes advantage of you. He just gives you everything that you need. I think the biggest lesson in today's verse is allowing people to suffer their consequences, to feel the effect of what they've done and how they've reacted and responded to things. Being a former people pleaser, I used to try to rescue everyone. When it was uncomfortable, I would try to make everyone feel good because I didn't want them to feel like they were less than or rejected. I always wanted everyone to feel the love and the unity and the peace. But really, I was doing a disservice to those who needed to feel their stuff. If someone reacts in a way that's not right and not honoring to God, they need to feel the effect of sitting in it. And if you rescue someone in that, you're actually stunting their growth. You're actually masking the thing that God is trying to reveal and God is trying to get them to feel. Because like we said earlier, anger is a feeling that reveals what you're needing. So if someone makes you feel okay in your anger, you're not going to change. You're not going to be introspective and look inward and be like, okay, why am I reacting this way? Because you're going to feel okay in it and justified. But if you are someone who has to sit in your anger, you have to take a look in and be like, okay, what part do I play here? Lord, help me to grow in this area. Help me to grow out of this area. Help me to get all my needs met by you. And then that's when the transformation will happen. It kind of reminds me of children. When children don't get what they want, they get so mad so quick. And it's because their needs aren't getting met. What they wanted aren't getting met. And it's not to say that they should have that need met in terms of wanting the toy or whatever it is that they're wanting that maybe they shouldn't have in that moment. But there is an unmet need in their brain. So that's why they have an emotion and they react and they're mad. When we don't get what we want, we can have that same reaction and we can get angry and we can feel powerless. But I think what God is trying to teach us is, hey, just because you're not getting what you want doesn't mean I can't give you what you need. Come to me with your anger. What is it that you're angry about? What is it that you feel like you're lacking? Because I can fill that part in your heart to make you feel stable. So no matter what you don't get in the world, you can maintain your peace and your joy and your gentleness because you're getting all your true needs met by me. The cool thing about that is no one can take that from you. So you can stand in your powerfulness. You don't have to feel powerless anymore because you have access to the most powerful man in the world, who created the world. So you get to stand in your powerfulness no matter what happens in your life, no matter what gets taken from you, no matter who wrongs you. You get to stay powerful with him and responding in a way where your emotions don't control you, but you're good because you got Jesus living in you, helping you respond with kindness, helping you have power over your emotions, which will help you just love people well, love yourself well, and represent him well. And that could only happen if we allow people to feel the consequences of their actions. So we can't rescue people. We need to let them feel so God can deal with it in their heart. And then that will just lead to more freedom for them in the future. Okay?